Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Luke. You're watching Luke to Freedom. So I want to speak about Brandon Tatum's blog he made recently about he made a blog about anti-mandate protesters in New York City who were protesting at the Museum of Natural History. Um, he made a lot of claims, and yeah, I just want to respond to them because, in my opinion, there was, I usually don't do this, but there was just so much buffoonery in that blog that I just can't let it go. It was really extreme, the buffoonery, and I hate when people lie, when people smear my subjects, skew reporting, and skew facts of um, articles. So let's get into it, like he would say. And Tatum's channel, Brandon Tatum's channel, is all about making cops look good. So I understand his motivation about doing this blog because the anti-mandate protesters in New York are making cops look really bad these days, and for good reason, in my opinion. So yeah. And also, I was the guy recording inside the museum. I was one of the independent journalists in there. What happens is, some people who like what I do, they tell me about their events. They want me to cover their event. I go cover their event. Or sometimes I find events on my own and I go cover them. So yeah, so in this particular situation, I was contacted by someone who wanted me to cover this event, and I decided to do it because I've been doing a lot of these anti-mandate events. I've been doing a lot of sit-ins, and like I said, I was one of the people who was inside there. And there's a video. I'm gonna link it in the description box. There's actually a video about this anti-mandate protest. There's footage from inside the museum what was happening. So you guys can go check it out on your own and decide on your own whether who was at fault, whether the security guards were at fault, whether the activists were at fault, the police, whatever. But let's go through Brandon Tatum's claims for a second. He said this entire thing was all about trespassing. It had nothing to do with mandates. It was all about trespassing. And these people are basically stupid for doing it. And they're just a bunch of savages who just went in there to trespass. Um, that couldn't be further from the truth. It was actually all about the mandates. What happens in these situations is the trespassing charges are just a cover for enforcing unconstitutional mandates. It happens every time. Every time these activists go out to these sit-ins, to these protests, this is what happens. They get arrested for trespassing. But they go there to demonstrate against mandates, mostly vax mandates like vax passports and mask mandates as well. So this is what happened, right? I'm going to give you the breakdown of what really happened. Reservations were made for about 2:30. They were made for 2:30. I made mine for 3 o'clock. They told me to make it for 2:30, but I'm stubborn. I do my own thing, and I thought we were going to be late, so I made mine for 3 o'clock. But, overall, they were made for 2:30. Everybody made reservations, including myself. Obviously, I'm going to show you the reservation on here. Here it is. And we made our way. We made our way to the first checkpoint at 2:30, where the first two security guards were in front of the museum. Not inside yet. So when you walk up, they ask you for ID and COVID papers, right? And obviously we don't have COVID papers. We have IDs, but we don't have COVID papers. So we say, no, we don't have COVID papers. So this whole ordeal happened like 3 times. You need COVID papers. We don't have COVID papers. You need COVID papers. We don't have COVID papers. And then all of a sudden, the activists just started going through the security guards, right? Not forcing themselves through the security guards or pushing them. You know, they were just like one goes here, the other one goes there, one goes here, the other one goes there. And the security guards are basically overwhelmed and they can't really, and they don't have the authority to really grab people. So the activists went through, they went into the museum's lobby, and you know, there was a huge lobby there with dinosaurs and everything. Um, and they were making their way into the exhibits, and that's where they were stopped. The exhibits were quickly quickly closed off by museum staff, and that's where the whole demonstration happened. And it took like 2.5, 3 hours, you know, the whole ordeal. So basically what happened was they were kind of like negotiating. They were saying like these mandates are unconstitutional. The management was like, yeah, but this is what the city wants us to do, and we are enforcing them, and you need COVID passports to go inside, and you need masks and everything like that. The activists were talking about religious exemptions and all other sort of things, you know, that they had. So that's what happened there. Brandon Tatum made a claim that these activists were treated well by the staff and by the police, and that couldn't be actually further from the truth, in my opinion. I was there and I saw what was happening. Also, his fact checking is so bad that in his blog he said the activists went in there and didn't pay. That's actually totally false. You don't even need to pay for the museum if you're a New York resident. So it's based on donations. It's not based on payment. It's a suggested payment of $23, which the activists were ready to pay anyway. They were not let into the exhibits though, so there was no way for them to pay. So the whole idea of them not paying to go in there is false, because they don't even have to pay to go in there. It's based on donations. So even a small fact like that, Brandon Tatum can't get right. Another thing is this. You know, if the activists were, you know, this is why it is about the mandates. If the activists were able to go in there, right, to see the exhibits without vax passports and whatever, masks or whatever, right, they would be out of there 3 times over in the process that they were there. But they were stopped, so the demonstration was happening. And obviously, in a protest like this, in a sit-in or whatever, there's gonna be a line crossed, right? Once the activists went through that initial checkpoint of security guards, that's where the line was, right? So that's what they were protesting. You know, they did not recognize their authority to stop them for vax passports and mask mandates. So they went in to see the exhibits. They were stopped, and basically a standoff happened for like 2.5 and 3 hours in there. At one point, an activist who is an army veteran, who went to like 2 or 3 wars, he wanted to go to the bathroom. He wanted to use the bathroom and pee. He was denied that right, and he basically peed in a bottle, right? Then another female wanted to go to the bathroom because she was on her period. Another activist, and she was denied that. All of that is documented in my video if you guys want to go see it. Like I said, it's going to be in the description box. So, you know, a small scuffle resulted out of that. After the female was denied access on her period to the bathroom, a small scuffle ensued, and eventually the security manager relented and let the female go to the bathroom. So, listen, these protesters were treated like a bunch of hamsters with rabies in there. They were totally ignored. The security guards were very standoffish. And believe me, it's not about trespassing. It's not about trespassing. It's all about the mandates. The trespassing charges are just cover to enforce these unlawful mandates, right? Another thing in Tatum's video was about the girl who was detained, right? She was cared for while her mother was arrested for trespassing, right? And that is true, right? The girl was detained, but in Tatum's video, he has an article up that actually says there was a 9-year-old girl who was detained and like the adults were arrested. So the article is actually correct, and he's disputing an article that's correctly written, and it's crazy to me what he's doing. He has an article there. He just shows you the videos. He doesn't even read the article, and it's just laughable what he did right there. And I understand why he's doing it. His channel is all about protecting cops. It's all about treading water for the cops. Once in a blue moon, maybe he'll say something wrong about a cop. Some cop didn't follow procedure, or he would do something differently or whatever. But the general consensus of the general thing on his channel is he always treads water for the cops. And that's what it is. He spoke about how the problem is not with the cops, it's with the government. For me, and I believe for these activists out there, that's actually a bunch of baloney. The cops, from what I know, the cops swear their oath to the Constitution, not to the government. This is not communism, right? We have a constitution that keeps the government in check. And right now, this is not happening. These cops are enforcing unconstitutional mandates under the cover of trespassing. So yeah, so the museum waited the activists out. They were not serviced. And at the end, what happened? They were arrested for trespassing because the museum was actually closing. I left. The activists decided to stay and basically hold the line. That's what they call it. They call it holding the line, and they said, we are not leaving. You are either going to service us for what we came for, or you call the police for us to get arrested, and that's what they chose to do. And to me, that is not wrong. To me, that is something actually. It takes a bit of courage to put yourself out there on the line. And these activists are out there on the street fighting for something, while Brandon Tatum is sitting on his computer getting fat and just complaining and collecting money from people. Now, I understand he has something to sell. A lot of people, buy into that whole back the blue stuff and everything like that, and that's totally fine. But not everybody's about that, Nobody's automatically a hero to me. That's just after seeing how things are going on in Australia, how things are going on over here in blue states. That's not how I feel anymore, and that's not how a lot of people feel anymore. So they're out there fighting for something, and that's something to be admired, in my opinion. Brandon Tatum is basically telling you who he is. He's telling you he's one of those cops who would enforce these unlawful mandates. If he was still a police officer, he would be out there with these officers arresting demonstrators who are protesting against mandates, vaccine passports, and mask mandates. He would arrest them for trespassing, just like these officers are doing it. So, if somebody tells you who they are, believe them. So anyway, um, go see the video. I'm also going to link the article he was disputing, which the article says the girl was detained, she wasn't arrested. Now, are there bad actors that took this article, posted it on their Twitter or Facebook, and said the girl got arrested? Yes, that's going to happen with every article. But the initial reporting is on point. The adults were arrested, the girl was detained, and that's what it is. Brandon Tatum is totally wrong. He's on the wrong side of history. And, it is what it is. That's how I feel about it. But once again, go see that video. Go see my reporting on it from inside of the museum. I got more footage from inside there that could make Brandon Tatum look really bad and stupid. But it's not about that. I just wanted to respond because I feel bad for these activists. They trust me not to skew, not for reporting, not to be skewed unfairly. When I go out there, I report what I see, and I'm not gonna stand by while somebody picks apart and tells a bunch of half truths, and then my subjects are looking bad out there. So that's what it is. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. LTF, baby. I'm out.